Can you kind of talk about growing up in Barbados and what the culture of organized sport was like when you were growing up?
Okay, so well, I was born in 1988, Barbados in the 80s, and sports was, I would say, exciting. The culture of sports in Barbados would have been like cricket, which is our major culture sport, and soccer, which is another sport that we have been, very good at, and also road tennis, which is a sport that is like lawn tennis, but more in the street. So you play more with a long board as a net, and it's like it's fun sport. But sports has been it's been exciting, but a challenge in our country because we have we don't have much resources in Barbados. It's not a lot of resources.
When you are looking at a sport like track and field, do you see that a lot of kids grow up running track, or do they kind of go toward soccer or cricket or field or tennis?
Well, it, in high school in Barbados, which is secondary school, we have different choices of sports for PE. So you start in PE, and it's actually a program that they have that you can choose soccer, cricket, football, volleyball, and swimming. And a lot of students would choose from what discipline they wanted to be in, and from there transitioning to track and field. Like for myself, I started in soccer, and soccer transitioned me into track and field as a hurdler. So it's just about having you know the opportunity to play in different sporting disciplines and then branch out on the particular one that you need to focus on.
When did you figure out that you're a really good hurdler?
2005 is when I actually realized that I was pretty good at the event, and I started to qualify for a lot of local, well, Caribbean regional games, and started to go internationally as a junior at that age, and did some great performances.
Yeah, I saw that you were a gold medalist in the U17 CAC Junior Championships. I mean, that was 2004. You were like a late teenager.
Yes, yes.
What? I
My
mean,
career. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
no, go ahead.
Yeah, my career started, like, as I said, 2005 is what I won my first World Youth silver medal. And then from there, went on to winning a lot of medals within the region and internationally. And thanks to Mike, former coach in Barbados, Alwyn Bab, he, actually saw the talent in me. And I was a troublesome kid too back in those high school days. So sports really put me in a path that I needed to be in and focus and explore out there, have fun, and see new cultures and interact with athletes and the world.
So when you go to these CAC championships, what countries are represented?
CSC is basically you have Venezuela, you have Jamaica, you have the Caribbean, and mostly, well, Canada is there, and some of the South America countries.
Did they give you good competition?
Yes, I had good competition, especially with Jamaica. Jamaica has been always a challenging country when it comes to hurdles, not only hurdles, but sprints and sprint events. Yeah.
How do you train for hurdles versus just a straight out foot race sprinting event?
Basically, it's a lot of technique in terms of hurdle, like a lot of hurdle. mobility and a lot of hops, hurdle hops, and it's just a matter of a lot of stretching and speed work and just maintaining technique over the hurdle.
So then, I mean, you had like the end of your teens, early 20s, you were all over the country, all over the CAC, setting national records and personal bests. At what point did you think maybe I can go to the US and like maybe make this a career?
Well, in 2007, when I finished my last Carifta games, I was recruited by a college in Kansas named Barton Community College. And when I first got there, coach was excited about, the season for me. And when my season started, everything went well. Like my performances just skyrocketed. I set a lot of um, nationwide records in the 60-meter hurdles and the 110-meter hurdles. And, it's it's been amazing. That's really where my career started. And a lot of American scouts and a lot agents, were amazed that I was running times that the professionals were running. So it was a good journey.
A journey. I actually mapped it out. It's 3,000 miles from the capital of Barbados, where you grew up. I
Yeah.
mean, what a culture shock. I
Yeah.
mean, what was going through your head when you were 3,000 miles away in a different country?
For me, I always dreamt about, just being some place that I can actually showcase my skills and, to run and show everyone that, I'm from a small country, but we have good athletes and good performances. And it's just been amazing. I never had homesickness or anything like that. I was ready and excited to like explore.
Did you find that you were welcomed in Kansas? I mean, that is rural Kansas. I'm
Yeah,
sure that
middle of
it,
nowhere.
I'm sure that it bears no resemblance to the capital city of Barbados, right?
um, the coach, the coach was, he was a person who made me comfortable in terms of showing me around. It's in the middle of nowhere, as you said, like nothing, just school and fields of cows. But it was kind of quiet and still good focus. Like it kept me focused and I wouldn't have any distractions. So I'm pleased that I was there and happy. I went to Barton.
Absolutely. At what point did you start training with Team Barbados? And how did you get on their radar at all?
I actually started training with Team Barbados in 2004. I've been running like local junior regional meets for Team Barbados and you know even starting as a senior in 2009, well, 2008, I was my first Olympics I've attended to in Beijing. That was my first senior, well, my second senior meet that I've been at, and being with Team Barbados has been a pleasure.
Yeah, I went back and looked. You're one of 8 athletes representing the entire country and one of only 3 in track and field. I mean, what does that mean for increased visibility for your country?
Well, it's it's like they were, our country is very exciting for having athletes in track and field to be at that level, and it's a big marketing idea and movement for the country because everybody's like Barbados is so small you can see it on the map, but having myself and other athletes out there is like amazing. And we have small resources but not too much, but it was the country's pleased. They're pleased that we have a lot of professional athletes now based in Barbados and they're doing pretty well.
I mean, when you're 20 years old, representing your country in the Olympics as one of less than a dozen athletes,
Mhm.
what's going through your head? I mean, you got to the semifinals in your first Olympics at 20 years old.
Well, my first Olympics, I was nervous because I've never been to China. I've never flown that far other side of the world. And it was like I was running against big gunners in the 110-meter hurdle. So it was a first year experience and learning from that stage of my life as a senior, like going into the being a senior second Barbados team, it was a pleasure doing it and learning from it just to carry on that and work on what mistakes I made during the race and engineer it.
So you went from Beijing in 2008 to Berlin in 2009 with a world championship gold in the hurdles. Quite a time for you. You were all over the world. Just
Yes.
the best, one of the best in the world at your sport.
Yeah. So in 2009, worked with I finished college and from there I had agents, at my door trying to get me to recruit me and I chose one and that's when I first contract I signed with Adidas and from there I just started to run a lot of races. Like I think I ran like maybe 80 or so races from indoors to outdoors that year. So I know my performance would have been up to par. And, you know, the outcome came, well, like, gold medal, just to get the right circle around you and just to keep you on the path that you needed to be and I achieve what I needed to achieve because that's what I dreamed about years ago. Like, trying to get that international stage, having a sponsor, winning a medal, and it really came true.
I feel like when I bring guests on, we normally talk at some point about the support system that they had when they were at their peak athleticism and how important it was to the trajectory of their athletic career. When you were looking at bringing on Adidas as a sponsor and going to the Olympics and winning a gold medal, who was the most important part of your support system?
My most important part of my support system would be my coach. Um, he's been there for me. Well, both my coaches, my local coach and my school coach. Both of them played a very big part in my career. They kept, working. We kept working hard on races and my health, and keeping me fit during my whole career. And my mom and dad, they were my dad mainly he was a big supporter of my races, but my mom never watched me live run any of my track and field events. Never did. She was never there to like I think she was scared because I was jumping over hurdles. So it was a moment that she was like, no, I wouldn't be there. I'll watch it on TV. So but she was always encouraging me to, stay focused and just enjoy and have fun. So that's why I see hurdles and any other sport as just fun and just enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean, at 21 years old, when you were in Berlin, you were the youngest world champion in that event ever.
Yes. Yes. I was shocked about it. I was like, wow, I can't believe I'm the youngest. And it's like, a lot of coaches out there while I was running the circuit before World Championships, a lot of coaches were like, this guy is serious. Like we scared of him because everybody was like clueless when I got on the world scene. Like they didn't know that I would have, accomplished and accelerate that fast. with my career, and it was it was fun.
Between 2008 in Beijing and 2012 in London, what do you think was the largest difference in your training, your approach to being an Olympian?
Um, I think 2009 is when it was really like it was a reality check for me in terms of, I'm professional now, I get paid for it, and I have to stay and maintain it, to it's my, as I said, this is my livelihood, and this is what's gonna make me money, and I gotta get it together and continue to, perform and please the sponsors and my agent and the support in Barbados. So 2009 was really the challenging part of reality.
What do you think is the difference in your mindset racing as an early 20 something versus into your mid 20s?
Before it was more of a nerve-wracking to me because I didn't know like how to gauge my running with professionals at that stage. And after winning the medal, my gold medal, it was now a different stage of, okay, well, I won a gold medal, so this is the time I really have to like everybody's be gunning for me, so I need to really focus and just get it going. Yeah.
Yeah. And then coming in fifth in London, I mean, that's a massive difference from making it to the semifinals in Beijing. What do you think changed? How did you fine tune your Beijing performance to then have the response that you did in London?
Well, 2010, because I ran so many races in 2009 that it affected me in 2010 because of, just running a lot. And the end of the season was September. So I only had a couple months to relax, and then year training starts again. So 2010 was a bad performance for me and some injuries. And 2011 is sponsors. That's when sponsors give me a reality check and say, hey, your performances are low. I think you need to change coaches. So um during that time, I changed coaches in 2011 and moved to Tallahassee, Florida. And, you know, practice was pretty good. We started to work on any errors and mistakes that we have during practice and any local meets around. And from there, 2012, that's when, we went into Olympics and we worked in the first heat. I started to work on what I needed to work on just to maintain and have a good lane. But in the semifinals, that's when I made a couple of adjustments and errors that caused me to be bumped into another lane that I didn't want to, because normally I like to be more in the middle when they're with my opponents next to me, like the top guys. And it was not good that I didn't get the lane because my focus was like, oh well, I need to be in that lane or I won't run good. So in the finals, I got a bad lane assignment, and in my mind, while running is like I can't gauge from what their guys are doing to really perform good. So that's when I came fifth. I tried to work on it during the race, but it was too late.
It's so funny to me when elite athletes are the best in the world and they're still like, man, I could have done better.
Yeah, because you only sometimes you only see it when you finish. It's like, oh, I should have done this, but during the race, sometimes your mind don't be like that. Like, for instance, in '09, if you had to see my video, I crashed the first hurdle. Like, I mean, literally crashed it. I don't know how my body like just gathered that strength to get back and finish. I was clueless about it. Like I was like, oh, today was really my day. But you learn from your mistakes and you look back and try to fix it and you just re-engineer what you needed to do. Yeah.
I mean, when you're running professionally, how frequently are you fine-tuning those little things?
Well, some days I will run like maybe 4 or 5 races a week in Europe. And it's like you arrive at the track, so there's no time to fine tune anything. Because running on a circuit is different than running at championships. Running a circuit is just one race. When you done finish race, you get on the plane, go to another location and run again. Sometimes you get a 2 day rest or you get to work on certain little tweaks of what errors you have, but on the circuit is a different atmosphere in terms of running and strategy. So
What kind of athletes from what countries were you racing against on these professional circuits?
I'm USA, Jamaica, Germany, um, China, man, a lot, a lot of countries.
Where's the most amazing place that track has taken you?
Um, I would say I loved Italy. Italy and Germany has been two of the amazing spots that I've been at, and um, I'm just seeing the ambience of it is actually amazing, and the culture.
How did the showing in London work you toward leaving the sport?
Um, I think it had me just. I was just not surprised, basically. I wasn't surprised, or I should say, it was kind of a down moment in terms of errors you make, and then especially your team and not being pleased about what you've done, and it kind of affect what I was doing because I used to train with Justin Gatlin and Kelly Wells and a lot of top international athletes, and training was very difficult, but creating the team that you needed around you, because at that time when I moved my team, a lot of stuff was changed, and when you don't perform good, a lot of people would step back and disappear. So it got down at that time. So it was very difficult, as they say. Performances were after that was not good. Yeah.
At what point did you see your career manifesting maybe into an opportunity to stay in the sport and work with these young athletes?
Um, I would say 2014 when I just realized like all of my running mates, they're retired. So it's like I think I need to try to help other athletes accomplish what they need to, their goals and dreams. And that's when I realized like I need to help other kids and try to get them out there and showcase their own talents.
Was that informed by the culture in Barbados that you had grown up with, or was that more of a an Americanized experience?
And more in Barbados, because well, in this generation now, Barbados is kind of you gotta win a gold medal or some type of medal because that's when you get the all the praises and everybody's happy and but when you don't really do anything, your performances is low. It's kind of like okay, I don't. We can just put you under the rug. That's it, really. So, and right now, kids in Barbados, and we actually don't have a track right now to really compete on. And the sports industry is really down. So it's like no motivation anymore. Kids can't explore anymore with what they want to do with their performances. So it's really hard and it's just a Barbados mindset.
Did you say that you don't have a track in the entire country?
Well, we do a track name after me, but it's how to say it. It's not really uh, tr- this is hard to say. It's going to be difficult to say, but we don't really use it. And when we use it, it's hard, it's not really central for a lot of athletes. Where the other stadium supposed they say they're supposed to be working on it, just nothing has haven't happened, and it's just a talk, 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 and there's nothing that we can do because I try my best to like try to work to get them, get a track bill, but how countries are really political in the sport. So yeah.
I mean, having a track named after you is so cool.
Yeah, it is, but as I said, I don't want to be too negative, but it's not really, they don't really market or promote my name really on it because it's the Houston Bolt complex and the Ryan Brathwaite's track. So more of it is the Houston Bolt complex instead of the Ryan Brathwaite's track. So it's a lot of, as I said, politics involved in that.
I mean, but your name is on a track and it will be foreseeably forever.
Yeah, but I'm you see, to me, I'm a humble person and oh, I was even considering to get it removed, but I'm just I'm just not gonna do it. And I'm happy that they have my name and they appreciate what I did for the country. But we need to make a change in our country when it comes to sports. And it's not about power. It's supposed to be about the upcoming athletes, about their dreams and their goals, and bringing good economy to Barbados. We just had the Cricket World Championships or World Cup or whatever it is in Barbados, and we need to have other events like track and field. Uh, that's what we need. Like we need to make a change.
I mean, representation is so important, especially when you're talking about the future of athletes in your country. I mean, what is best case scenario looking forward for athletes in this upcoming generation or two or three generations from now?
Right now, like for us to really perform in our for our country, we have to leave and train in other countries. Like right now, we have Shade Williams, who is she's a two-time bronze medalist at the World Championships, and she trains in Jamaica. We just won a bronze yesterday at the Under 20 World Championships in the 200, and she trains in Jamaica. We had a lot of other athletes who had to leave, and go and train in America. That like myself, I had to leave Barbados, and if I think if I stayed in Barbados in 2005 up to 2009, I would have never been known or have a performance like that. So I think leaving to have an opportunity because we don't have the resources. Now, Jamaica, they never had resources, but they know how their culture and lifestyle was that they really had to work hard. And we can't always blame it on the resources, but I think that now in these, as you said, in this future, I think athletes need the resources. They need to have opportunities to get out there and have track meets. Like, if you're based in America, you have track meets, numerous track meets every month, every week that you can go to. But in the Caribbean, you can't. They don't. So it's nothing to really do to say, oh, well, we can run next week at this track meet. There's nothing. So what happens when we try to go to on those big stages? We can't perform because we don't have enough races in or whatever discipline. We don't have enough going into it. So
How do you want your work as a consultant and an advocate for these athletes, these youth athletes? How do you see your role in this kind of hopefully changing climate?
well, basically as I said, I've been always helping the younger generation, like schools, with school supplies, help them with that, and trying to put the Ministry of Sports in a better direction. But sometimes you try to give the best advice and show them like, well, this is what we need to do. If we do this and we continue to do this, we can actually accomplish a lot of things. And it's just been hard trying to consult with my country, just hard. So, and plus I do real estate and I do a lot of things. I'm an artist manager. Um, and with sports, it's just the sport in Barbados killed my vibe. And I try to work hard to try to help others, but it's a lot of, I just said, negative going into the kids, the athletes in Barbados. And I really believe that there's so much talent in Barbados that could be showcased out there, but we just not doing it the right way. It just isn't. So
Is there anything else that you think that I missed about telling your story or your general experience with hurdles?
um not really. That's basically really well my my other part of my life and my story is it's kind of a little negativity in terms of how I was treated. I was treated well in 2009. After 2010, 2011, life was different in terms of how they, treat the athletes and a lot of promises. I was promised land. I never got it in 2009. Never got it. I was promised a lot of things that I had never received. I was supposed to be a sports ambassador. Never was even told what role I needed to do as a sports ambassador. Um, the federation just they don't respect you. They don't respect athletes after they have a lot bad performance. They don't encourage. So every time this, no athlete come on on in the market and they perform well, they jump on that bike wagon and ready to do things till, they don't perform well and it's like, you know what? Let me just brush you off and on to the next. And I think we just, as I said, we just need to change the whole board members and all the officials that need to be changed because it's like we think of too much of back in the days mindset instead of futuristic things that we need to do, like a lot of ideas that we need to do. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you are the first Barbadian athlete that I have ever spoken to on this
Nice.
podcast.
Yeah.
And I think it's really interesting when I bring on athletes from countries that don't really appreciate their representation.
Yeah, because it's hard. It's hard. It's a lot of, as I said, selfishness, and it's like they know it. They know it. Like with my experience, I've been experiencing in this sport for a long time, and like from for instance, I was in 2020, well, 2020. I was actually working on a proposal to see if we can start a franchise in the Caribbean for NFL, and that was my actually my next dream, really, to have a franchise for the NFL and have more excitement in the media, because I think doing something like that is a big media idea. And
Absolutely.
now Africa, they're introducing a lot of the NFL sport in Africa right now, and create we just need a different sport to me in Barbados, a new sport. I wouldn't say really new, but something that catches eyes, and you can have international foreign exchange coming in. Um, World Cup was one of them. A lot of people travel a lot to World Cup, but we just need another additional sport. And I think this whole flag football coming to Olympics is is actually a pretty good thing. And cricket, so that's some good moves. And I think I'm gonna work on having a strategy for that for Barbados if we really take it serious.
That's incredible. What does it mean for the future of Barbados representation to have an influx of other sports that aren't cricket, that aren't track, that aren't soccer?
I think it would be something good. Like it would teach us to have more of a understanding and really a deep dive of how we should operate in terms of having a new sport. Like American football is something serious. It's really a business, serious business that you have to be serious about it and make no errors. And I think having something like that would bring a lot of people who would be interested in being part of and making a change.
Yeah, I mean when you have like three or four sports that your country is set on pursuing, how do you even bring up, let's add another one? How does that
Well,
conversation start?
I've given the country, well, the Ministry of Sports in Barbados, a proposal on having starting a new events, and not only that, but to revamp the sports in Barbados and having it really showcased in the communities, because I think we have been distanced in the community with sports in general, and we need to get back the interest within the country, like especially with American football. In the survey, it was like I think 87% of people watch American football in Barbados. It's huge when it comes to when the Super Bowl is on TV, because a lot of people go at the bars and they watch it. It's something serious. And I think having or showcasing it in Barbados would be a great thing, because a lot of people in Barbados like new stuff, new things. Like I think having something new is a good way to get people to be interested in this sport, and we've done flag football and we have a flag football association, but it's like one in a blue moon that we really do anything about it. So it's just basically just spreading the word and getting people to learn the sport and know the sport. And if they understand it, that we can do. Like Dominican Republic, they have baseball, and they're just up in the just up top north of us. So why can't we learn baseball? Why can't we do it? Exchange and learn new events within the country, the region. You know, that's why I think we just need to interact with other countries and learn from them. Even cricket, cricket has a big, they get fund like billions of dollars. Why can't we learn from them what strategies they have and put it towards track and field or any water sports or whatever? That's really what we want to do.
Is there anything else that you would like to talk about before we get out of this interview?
Not really. That's everything, really.
All right. And then I'm just going to look up when this episode will be published. I think you have quite a bit of time.
Oh yeah,
Um,
it doesn't matter. Like I can talk about anything like business wise, and yeah, it's for me. I'm a person who does a lot of. I have a lot of ideas. My brain is be like this, like all over the place because it's so much ideas and so much things that can be done, and looking to have things done. And the sport. I just truly love sports and any type of sport because all athletes work hard, no matter what discipline, swimming, American football, whatever, tennis, pickleball. 'Cause pickleball is very huge in Atlanta, where I live. It's huge. So, it's just a matter of continue to be happy about other sports and other people accomplishing what they need to. But for my country, Barbados, I think we just need to revamp the industry. Yeah,
so your episode will not be out until December 11th.
that's funny. I'll
I
be
have
traveling.
I have so many amazing stories.
Yeah,
Um, but that does mean that your episode will not come out until like the middle of December.
yeah, that's fine.
Um,
I think I might be in Barbados.
that would be amazing.
Yeah.
If anything of interest happens between now and then that you'd like included in this podcast,
Yeah, I
please
can give
reach
you a
out to me.
shout. Hmm.
Um, Keep me updated on that, and then I will message you when the podcast is live. Thank
Yep.
you so
'Cause
much for.
I had a friend of mine, his name is Justin. He's not, well, he's an athlete. He plays the local hockey, not ice hockey, but he's a guy that actually has a lot of, well, not a big story, but he's trying to help, trying to work on his business.
Ooh.
And he's really the one who really motivated me to really start back in Barbados with the sports and I'm working on mental health because he's trying to do a mental health program in Barbados because that's a major thing that you need within sports, like help people with mental health, depression, and focus and all of that. But I can always link you with him, and
Yeah, I would love that.
yeah.